Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to drop one on y'all today. If you like the story, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified ASAP Rocky, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, I rap. Do not get it twisted because I'm older. The flow is none like Curtis Blow. If you want to check my music out, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, and you definitely gonna be surprised. Now let's hop right up into this story. From time to time, I'll get comments in my comment section from other races, of course, saying that the blacks do not check paperwork. And my response to that is, if you're not black and you've never programmed as a black, you really can't say that. You're just going off something that you heard. Now, to keep it 100, as I always do blacks, just being black, have a mandatory rule as a black to check paperwork? No. And that reason being is, it is so many different cars and collectives that make up the black population in prison that there's different rules and different organizations, and there's no set protocol. Now, you might be from, let's just say you might be from a gang called First Street Crip Gang, and you guys are at Corcoran, and you guys are checking paperwork. Then you might go to Pelican Bay, and your homies from First Street Crip Gang there, they're not checking paperwork. It just all depends on who's there, who's basically calling dogs for that particular car, who's in charge of that particular car, and the way they're programmed. So, it's not something that definitely happens all the time in each car, but you can't say that it never did happen, because I have been in situations where it has happened, and I'm going to share one with y'all today. So, I left a prison by the name of Ironwood. Ironwood is a level 3. My points dropped down. I went across the street to Chuckawalla, which is a level 2. When I got to Chuckawalla, there was a guard who worked there who grew up in the same city that I grew up in, who said he was friends with my victim. And once he learned that I was there, after about a week, he had me sent to the hole, and I got transferred to Corcoran, which is known as SAT-F, which is a level 2. The level 2s, the majority of level 2s are like dorm living. You're like in basically a gymnasium type setting, like army barracks, bunk beds all over the place, as opposed to being in cell living on a level 3 yard and a 4 yard. Now, you do have some 2 yards that are cell living, but the majority of them are like open gym, like dorm type stuff. And so when I got there, that was one thing that I didn't like. When you would go, when I would go to the yard, I would go play basketball, work out, whatever. Once I did all that and came back showered, there was no place to go to get a peace of mind like I could when I was in the cell. There was always constant movement. Like I said, you're like in a like army barracks type thing, bunk beds and stuff, and so there's really no place to just go and relax, So I'm constantly watching people is moving all around me and stuff like that. Now, the way this particular prison was built, this level 2 was almost built like a level 4 180. And what a 180 is, on a level 4, the guard in the tower has a 180 view of the cell block. And so you come in the building after you take maybe about 15, 20 steps, you're walking in this like tunnel. To the right side was an office where the CO sat. That office had big plexiglass windows where he could look out and see. To his left, A section, in front of him was B section, and to the right was C section. Now these sections were top and bottom, 2-story, but they was open cubicles, and each section, A section and B section or whatever, had upstairs, downstairs, and they had about 3 or 4 cubicles that contained maybe anywhere from 10 to 20 bunk beds, depending on how big that cubicle was. And this is where we slept and stuff. And so when I first came through there, now when you come through that hallway, you stop in that office, the guard tells you what bunk you're assigned to and stuff like that. So now when I'm coming out the hallway, there's people. When you exit the hallway, there's people waiting right there. You know, they see you coming, they know that you're a new arrival. And so some people ask me, hey homie, where you from? You know, so I told them, man, I'm from Eastside Park Gangster Crip. I continue heading to where I'm heading. Now, when I tell them I'm from Eastside Park Gangster Crip, it was a couple of dudes there who were from the LA area who ran with the gangster car. So now they start following me to my bed area. So they're assuming, because when I tell them that I'm from Eastside Park Gangster Crip, they're assuming that since it's a gangster in my title, I run with the gangster car. But I told them, no, homie, when they got to my bunk area, I said, no, man, you know, I function with the IEs. And so they say, hey, well, why don't you push gangster and this and that, homie, where you from, blah, blah, blah. We like to know what people is in here for, basically trying to check my paperwork. So I told them, hey, listen, homie, I don't function with y'all, but I had no problem in sliding my paperwork, right? Just to, let them know what I was in there for or whatever. And so now as I'm there a little longer, it's a lot of things going on that I really don't like, especially coming from a level 3. Matter of fact, there was a dude who was from Hanford. He was from a Hanford gang. He was from Hanford A. Trey. Let's just say that. I won't say his name, but he was from Hanford A. Trey. He ran with the gangster car. And you had several people there in wheelchairs. So what he would do, he would go get the part where the people in the wheelchair sitting down and putting their leg on the thing. You know how that piece can come out. He'd go get that piece, that long metal piece, put it behind the people's locker and break their lock off. But he would prey on people who didn't have homeboys, people who wouldn't affiliated. He'd go in their locker and he'd steal their tobacco. As I became more familiar with certain individuals, who had a little influence, I pointed that out. I said, hey, homie, what he doing ain't cool. But due to the fact he didn't function with my car, that was as far as I could take it. Matter of fact, I ended up telling you guys a story. It was called You Might Be Deaf, But We Don't Care. And the story was about a dude who ran with my particular collective. He couldn't control his innate fondness to sample the male member. He loved putting other people's pickles on his palate, if you understand what I'm saying, right? And so once that came to because initially we questioned him about it. He denied it, of course. Then, unluckily for him, he got caught in the act. You know what I'm saying? He had a sausage in his mouth in the kitchen, and it wasn't a sausage that the state provided, if you understand what I'm saying. So when he came back the next day from work, beep, boop, pop, boop, beep, beep, boop, pop, beep, boop. We put the mitts on him. Or actually, I had some homies go over there and bust him up. And we didn't bust him up due to his uncontrollable urge to sample salami. He got busted up because he was lying about it, and he was trying to fit in, smoking cigarettes with everybody, drinking, out of people's Pruno cups, letting people drink out of his cup. And if you're going to choose to, sample the next man's sausage, you at least have to you should let people know, because people don't want to be smoking cigarettes and drinking behind you and stuff like that. So that's why he got whooped on. And like I said, he was deaf. And so as the homies is over there whooping him, here comes the dude from Hanford A. Trey with his breaking the locker kit, trying to, he wants to pry in this dude's locker. I said, hey, homie, listen, no, we don't do that, homie. I don't condone no stealing. This dude is getting whooped. He's getting sent on his way, but you're not supposed to break into his locker. Plus, that didn't have nothing to do with him. Now, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, pop. After they busted dude up real tough, he runs straight to the office that I told you guys that when you first come in the building. Now he's in there. They got everybody's picture and their name up on a big board. And so he's pointing us out. Now, not to make fun of the dude, but like I told y'all, that's the way he was deaf. That's the way he talked. So he's in there. He's basically saying that, we didn't jump on him and stuff like that. So they handcuff him, take him on out, and eventually they come get us and stuff like that. He told them. So now I'm thinking, okay, damn, I should have let old boy steal his stuff. But anyway, maybe about a month or two after that, a black dude come up in there, older dude. He's probably about, I would definitely say early 60s, maybe about 5'6", maybe about 165, 70 pounds. You could tell that at one point in time he was a smaller dude, but now he got that old man weight on him with the big pot belly and stuff. And so he happened to be from the same county that the dude from who was from Hanford A. Trey. So, eventually they slide up on him, I guess, asked him what he was in there for and told him he had to produce his paperwork or whatever. So a day or two later, word gets out that the dude is in there for, I believe it was, if I'm not 100, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was in there for touching on kids or something like that. But like I said, due to the fact that another organization checked his paperwork, I didn't really get all into it or find out exactly what he was in there for. They just came and put the word out at a certain time today. Old boy is out of here, So they letting people know that, hey, we fixed to handle our business, man. Old boy gotta go, right? And so at a certain time of the day, the old dude, he goes over there to the black side of the day room, because each section, A section, B section, and C section, during the daytime when the gates was open, I forget which, but each day room had a particular race that watched TV in that particular day room. During the night when we were shut in there, everybody watched TV or whatever, but during the day, like let's say for instance, A was the Hispanic side in the whites, B was the Pisces and the others, I believe, and C was the blacks, or however it went. And so he's in the black day room watching TV. He's sitting on the bench. And so a couple minutes later, we see a few black dudes, one of them being the dude from Hanford A. Trey. They're creeping up behind the dude. They got a blanket. They got a brown wool blanket that the state gives us, to sleep with. They're creeping up on dude and stuff. He ain't, he don't know what's going on. He's watching TV and stuff. I guess had got no clue that he's on his way up out of there. They creep up on him, toss the blanket over his head. Beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, bop. They hop on him real tough, beat him all down, knock him down to the ground. They own him. Beep, boop, bop, boop, boop. They own him real tough, not giving him a break. They go to kicking him and stuff. Then eventually they run off. To keep it 100, I felt kind of bad, right? Because he was an older dude, and I was always raised, to respect your elders. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, they busted him up real bad. But like I say, when you come to prison, you got bad charges. Those were the things to be expected. So anyway, yeah, they busted him up. He finally got up off the floor, and it took him a while to get up. And that's another thing I felt bad. He laid on the floor for a long time with the blanket still over him, man. He laid on that floor like he was a baby sleep or something, And eventually he got up, got to his knees. He struggled. He put his hand on the bench, pushed himself up, kind of looked around, now everybody's quiet and stuff. He walked down that hallway, went into that office where the guard sat, and let him know that he had been beat up or whatever he told him. And they took him out of there, and that was the last time I seen him, sent him on his way. And so that's just a story right there, to counter those who say that the blacks don't never check paperwork. Because once again, if you've never programmed with the blacks, you don't know what the blacks do. You're just going off a myth. You're going off something that you heard. And as I said earlier, is it mandatory? Do blacks have, like other organizations, it's mandatory that paperwork gets checked immediately when they hit the yard? No. Reason being is because we have so many different factions and cliques, not being an excuse, but everybody's not on the same page. Everybody's not on the same agenda. And so sometimes, yes, it doesn't happen. Eventually, I stayed on that yard. I ended up being charged with a stabbing. I went to the hole, and I got sent to the 4-yard. The name of that story is Chill versus Goliath, Part 1 and Part 2. When I got out of the hole on the 2-yard and went over there to the 4-yard, when I got in the cell with a dude by the name, I'm going to put his name out there, dude by the name of Tick. Tick was from Northside 44, which is, which is in, is it in Sacramento? No, is it Sac? I forget what city he's in, but he was from Northside Gangster Fofo, and I'm trying to think of what city it was. But anyway, when I got up in there, he said, hey, homie, you coming from the hole. He didn't just straight up say, hey, let me see your paperwork, but he pretty much said as much, in a nice, polite way, asking to see my paperwork. Of course, since I had no problem, showing it to him, I showed it to him and stuff like that. But anyway, that's just to let people know out there that, yes, you do have blacks checking paperwork. So regardless of what you guys hear, regardless of what you think, that's not the case. And if you haven't programmed with the blacks or as a black, then you really can't, say definitively what the blacks do and don't do. Anyway, you already know what it is. Give me one hot second. I'm trying to think, man, where this dude was from. Tick. Was it Sacramento? Stockton. That's where he's from. Stockton. It's in Stockton. Northside Fofo, Gangster Crip, I believe is what it was. He's from Stockton. But anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.